Hello, class. Here is my yoga midterm presentation on some practices and elements that I have incorporated into my daily life. So, first is the breath work. I like to do the Ujjayi breath work technique, Savasana, and Hatha yoga. So I put on the slide a little bit more in depth on each. So the Ujjayi breath is a technique for warming up the body, also known as ocean breath. It mimics the sounds of waves. Simply inhale and exhale through the nose, and it helps get your blood flowing. So, I have incorporated the Ujjayi breathing um, since the first time I started practicing yoga a couple years ago. And I use it on the mat and off the mat. Using it on the mat, I can use it to warm up my body, and then I could use it to really focus on breath. Ways that I have used it off of the mat. I'm one who struggles with anxiety and anger issues, and this could be a way for me, a different technique for me to calm down. Also, this is a good technique to manage pain for me. For example, while in labor during childbirth, going back to this ocean sound, breathing, um, I was able to really tune into that and kind of get my mindset elsewhere. So I believe that the doing the Ujjayi breathing um, is really powerful. Next is Savasana or Shavasana. I'm not sure what it is. I've seen both. Um, It could also be known as corpse pose or final resting pose or final reset pose. Um, I started this, I started doing this pose the first time I went to yoga, and it was like the final, resting pose. It was the last pose of the session that we did. And first I was like, really, we're just going to lay here? My thoughts were going everywhere. Um, And we laid there for a couple minutes, and it was just silence. Once she spoke again, saying, let's warm our body back up, wake our body back up by moving our toes and our fingers. At that point, it clicked to me like I was elsewhere. I wasn't thinking of anything. I simply melted into the mat, into the floor, and it was really, really good. So I've always enjoyed that pose since that. It's just a time to rest and do nothing else. Um, so I feel like I was like, okay, I have to do a whole practice of yoga before I can get to that pose. And until lately, I was like, I don't have to do a whole yoga practice to owe myself the resting pose. If I just want to, at the end of my day, like right now, if I want to give myself 5-10 minutes just to get in that pose, rest and reset, I can owe myself to do that. And that pose is powerful in itself. So I'm going to keep practicing that and let go, disconnect, and just rest and reset. It's kind of like a meditation mode for me. And then finally is Hatha Yoga. So Hatha Yoga is kind of I feel like from my understanding, it's like a slower form of yoga that focuses on movement and postures, also known as asanas in Sanskrit. So Hatha Yoga can be good for gaining strength, flexibility, and balance. It could be a good start if you're a beginner. Hatha yoga happens at the studio, at home, with a YouTube video, and wherever, whenever. It's not only just a good start if you're a beginner, it could be, Hatha yoga is for really anybody and everybody, up to an expert. I've shifted back from practicing yoga every single day to a couple times a week to not at all. And like doing hatha yoga has always been there and something that I have always leaned toward. So I will continue to practice that in my lifestyle, my daily practice. All three of these elements will be in my daily practice. To help me. So I've got a little bit of breath work, a movement, and just yoga as a whole. Thank you for listening to my midterm presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.